Hello YouTube, it's the Magnum94 here, back with another stupid Nintendo article. And of course, with new hardware from Nintendo comes stupid articles. Now, I've read quite a few dumb articles in this video series, but I'm pretty sure, no matter how bad they may be, I'm pretty sure all of them at least had a point to be made in the article. They gave all the information and then they at least tried to convince you one way or the other and clearly stated their opinion on something. I'm not entirely sure if this article does that. It does state an opinion early on and it gives a lot of facts, but it never really has a point. Just let me read the article and you might understand what I'm coming at. So, first off, one of the main things that bugs me about stupid Nintendo articles in general, or really articles in general, the super clickbaity title. That's not open for interpretation or open for argument. It's just straight up, what I'm going to say is a fact. This is all there is. Don't buy the Nintendo Switch. Now, he could have easily said, I don't think you should buy a Nintendo Switch, or this is why I am not buying the Nintendo Switch, or whatever. You don't have to be so definitive about, and he doesn't even, throughout the entire article, he gives a lot of reasons as to why he believes that we I guess, shouldn't buy the Nintendo Switch, but he clearly says that he's not going to buy it, at least at launch. So why can't you say, don't buy the Nintendo Switch at launch, at least? Since I guess that's the main point you're trying to get at in this article, say don't buy it at launch, at least. Don't say don't buy it, period. Which, again, when I'm going to read this, that's not what you're saying. Later on in the article, you say we should buy it, just not at launch, essentially. But let's just get on to reading. The Nintendo Switch promises to be the next big-ticket Nintendo item with amazing configuration abilities and portable prowess. It is the next logical step in Nintendo's next present effort to break down the walls of home gaming and on-the-move enjoyment. Accessible to casual and hardcore alike, with a broad spectrum of appeal that cannot be matched. But what if we didn't buy it? I mean, yeah, that is an option. People didn't buy the Wii U for some reason, and you could just not buy it. Yeah, I'm just saying. Seriously, guys, I have thought this through. Have you really, though? We stand at the cusp of a new era of on-the-go entertainment. An age of swap-and-play adaptation expressed through peripherals is right around the corner, and we have every opportunity to be the ones forging into the new frontier. So let's not. Think about it. We have decades of experience with this cycle now. We may even be old and wise enough to take action of our own benefit. Sure, we can be early adapters, get our day one special matte black leather Mario cap, tasteful new Reggie Fils-Aimé photographs with ultra limited edition, play until our fingers bleed and tell all the other kids in the schoolyard just how much of a nugget stumper we truly are. What did I just read? None of that made sense, and it was just one long run-on sentence, I think. I don't even know. What's your point? Are you saying that... Are you trying to insult Nintendo fanboys at this point? Because you're doing it wrong. Are you... Nowhere in... I just don't understand. I might get back to that. Let's just keep reading. Or we could just stop and think about this. Let's look at Nintendo's history. Something fairly innocuous, maybe, like the Nintendo Entertainment System. What was it followed by? A Super Nintendo. Remember the Game Boy family? What about the Wii and the Wii U? Does the DS ring a bell? DS Lite? DSi XL, Nintendo doesn't even hide this information from us. They display it proudly in timelines. I don't know what your point is, especially following that last paragraph. What are you trying to say here? A, the NES and the Super Nintendo did not share the same games. There was like maybe 1 or 2 games that came out for both, but the vast majority of the games that came out with the NES did not come out, or Super Nintendo did not come out with the NES, and vice versa. So you bringing up the Game Boy and the DS family of systems is kind of irrelevant. And the same thing with the Wii and Wii U. The Wii U had none of the same games the Wii did, and vice versa. I just don't... Are you saying we should wait until the next system comes out, period? Because that's not even really what you're saying. And yes, Nintendo does seem to release multiples of one system in a generation, at least recently, with their handhelds. They've never done that with their consoles, which, by the way, Nintendo has confirmed that the Switch is a console first, handheld second, especially if it only has a 3-hour battery life. But I might get into that more later. What about the 3DS? 3DS XL, the new 3DS XL. Heck, some of these new releases happen less than a year apart from each other. Okay, he's talking about the 2DS came out less than a year before the 3DS XL did, or the new 3DS did. The 2DS didn't come out in Japan, I believe, until after the new 3DS came out in Japan. I'm not entirely sure about that, but that sounds right to me. Because the 2DS was released in October of 2013, and the new 3DS was released, I want to say, in August in Japan. And the 2DS didn't come out. Maybe it did, but still, it was... Wait, is the 2DS even out in Japan? I honestly don't even know. I don't know if the 2DS is out in Japan. Huh. I'll have to look into that later, but regardless, it didn't come out at launch. So... revealing the 3DS, the new 3DS, wasn't that big of a deal because, if what I'm thinking is correct, the new 3DS came out over 2 years after the 3DS XL was released. So, what I am saying is simple: we can save ourselves some money and get a really sound investment by spending one very standard resource: time. The Nintendo Switch Lite is a sure thing. We can simply wait a tiny amount of time and guarantee ourselves a superior console. No, there's no guarantee there. Like you said, superior console. All the things except for the Super Nintendo and the Wii U, which doesn't fit your argument unless you're only writing this for ignorant gamers or ignorant people in general who don't understand that the Wii U is a different system from the Wii or Super Nintendo and NES. Because Nintendo has never released a smaller version. Maybe they did for the NES, but at least recently, they've never released a smaller version or a better version. Let's put it that way. They've never released a better version of their consoles. They did release the Wii Mini, but that wasn't a better version. That was actually a worse version. It had no internet or GameCube ports. So saying that the Switch Lite is a sure thing when it's a console first, handheld second, that's just not true. I don't need to be an uncle that works at Nintendo to know that a normal price increase will... a normal price increase... What? I don't need to be an uncle that works at Nintendo to know that for a normal price increase, we will likely get all those things with 10% on your card insurance premiums trying to be a joke there. But the price, hang on. that actually doesn't fit your argument, though. I mean, because the Lite was cheaper than the original. It says so right here. The Lite was cheaper than the DS, and the DSi could actually play games that weren't on the DS Lite, so it made sense for the price increase. Again, I don't know exactly what you're trying to say here. I'll just keep reading. It's a no-brainer. We would not be waiting more than 4.5 months for such a thing. Wait, what? The DS Lite came out well over a year after the DS came out, and the DSi came out over 3 years, or about 3 years. And I wouldn't call the XL a new version. It's just a bigger version that was actually I want to say it only has like maybe an hour more battery life, if even. I just don't understand what you're trying, unless I'm just missing something. Unless I'm just overthinking it or underthinking it or something. I'm just missing something entirely. This article just doesn't seem to make any sense to me. Whatever. This gets me. There are already leaks on the internet, because those are always true, on how the console would look, so development is more than underway. And then he shows this preschool drawing of what the next Nintendo Switch may be, which they don't even have the 4 buttons on. There's no D-pad. I'm pretty sure any add-ons Nintendo would release would still have the 4 buttons there and a D-pad. I just don't get it. So let's make gaming history. It's time to wake up, sheeple. Let's take control of our finances and look to a brighter future where the companies that feed us entertainment aren't laughing at our excitement. Say no more and stand united for a brighter tomorrow. March to your local EB Games and tell them you aren't pre-ordering a Nintendo Switch. Ask for Nintendo Lite instead. Or maybe we should wait for the Nintendo Switch XL. I'll get back to you on this one. What are you trying to say? Let's make gaming history? So, is this entire article trying to say that he doesn't believe that what is it trying to say? What about not buying the Switch at launch when there's no precedent for a console having a rendition, a Nintendo console having a rendition that may be more powerful, to have more features? There's no precedent to that. So how is saying not buying this now so you can get this later is making gaming history? I can understand if you say don't buy the PS5 at launch because you know there'll be a PS5 Pro down the line, or Xbox 2 or whatever, because you know there'll be an Xbox Scorpio 2 down the line. That would make at least somewhat sense. But the Switch isn't even out yet. We don't even know the price. We don't even know all the features of it. You're making this article now, assuming that there'll be a better one like 4 months later after. No, Nintendo's not that dumb, and that doesn't even fit your precedent here. I still don't understand where this 4 months thing came from, because the 2DS was revealed almost a year before the new 3DS was. So, well, this entire article just hurts my brain. So you say you put a lot of thought into this, but really, you're just throwing a lot of information, putting it together, and trying to form a coherent thought, and it's just not working. Say No More and Stand United for a Brighter Tomorrow. What? Are, we don't even know all what the Nintendo Switch can do yet. See, I don't understand what you're trying to campaign for here. You honestly sound like a politician in this last paragraph. Stand for a brighter tomorrow. Say no to the Nintendo Switch at launch. Ask for the light instead, even though GameStops until very recently didn't know what the Nintendo Switch was. These EB Games and GameStop and Best Buy and all these places, they don't have it. Despite what people think, they don't actually have all that much insight into the gaming world. They hear rumors, but they don't actually know anything. So saying, "Oh, I don't want this. I want the Switch Lite when it comes out. Can you put me down for pre-order for the Nintendo Switch Lite?" They're like, "What are you talking about?" It just doesn't make sense, and I'm still just so confused by this paragraph up here. This monstrosity of a paragraph. It would be one thing if this were just purely an opinion piece saying that why he's not buying what at launch for some arbitrary reason. I wouldn't care what, just saying, "Oh, I'm not buying it at launch for these reasons." At least I'm not sold on it yet. I would understand an article like that. But an article that has facts behind it, an article that seems to be that took a lot of time to put together, that had all these facts that aren't even coherent at times. I just don't understand what the point of this article is. If someone in the comment section can point out to me what this guy is trying to say, because this seems to be more than just clickbait. He's trying to make a point, but he's just in the process confusing people. And it seemed like in the first paragraph, he seemed to be commending Nintendo that this is what they should be doing. I could maybe understand if your argument. No, I couldn't even. So, okay, maybe what he's trying to say is that if we don't all buy it at launch, they'll be forced to release the better version sooner? Is that what you're trying to say? But again, we have no precedent for the console being like this. The Wii to Wii U was not a marginal increase it wasn't that. The Wii U was backwards compatible and had some of the same peripherals with it. That just makes sense because more control options is not bad. And even less so for from the NES to the Super Nintendo, because none of the same games could be played on either of them. I'm not even sure if the Super Nintendo was backwards compatible. You know what? I'm done. I'm done trying to understand this article that clearly has no point. Again, if someone in the comment section can point out to me what this guy is trying to say, if I'm missing something, please tell me. But if he really is just saying I believe that this next Nintendo console is going to have a smaller version or smaller enhanced version less than a year down the line, which that's implying that Nintendo wouldn't even wait until holiday. Nintendo, they're not expecting big sales in March. They're not expecting big, because it's rumored that they're only producing 2 million to be shipped out at launch, which I think is a mistake. That should go at least 4 million, because the Wii U did 3.2 at launch, or at least in the holiday season. So releasing 2 million at launch is a bit of a mistake, especially since this technically is your next handheld as well. But yeah, Nintendo's isn't hoping for a big splash right at launch. they're getting people's interest in the thing because they are sending out low stock, which I guess in a way this kind of makes sense. They're releasing a low stock at first, so that way people can get interested in it. That way, by fall and holiday season, more people will want to buy this thing. That's what they're going for. So saying, "Oh, I'm not going to buy this thing at launch," isn't going to hurt them. They're not expecting many people to buy it at launch. So, and they're not just gonna release a new thing before the holiday season even happens. They're gonna write it out, see where holiday takes them. If it has a big push, if they get like 10 million or more, then yes, they'll be fine. They'll just keep on trucking. They'll keep doing their thing. They'll keep releasing games. They'll just keep on track. If they somehow don't do more than like 5 million in the first year, like they did with the Wii U. I think the Wii U was like 6.2 from sold until the next March. 6.2, that's terrible. So if the Switch does something similar, the most they'll do is a price cut and pack in a couple of games with it. That's all they'll do. They're not going to release a light or an enhanced version like you're thinking of. It's just not going to happen for a thing that they're touting as a console first. In every precedent, they've said it's a console first. So get this image of a Nintendo Switch Lite out of your head right now, at least right now. There's always a chance they could switch it up down the line and actually do release it, although that wouldn't make sense because the docking station seems to be tailor-made for the size of the tablet. So even then, you didn't put any thought in this. I'm done. I'm officially done. Just the sad thing is, there were many dumb articles to choose from. I just didn't want to flood my channel with stupid Switch articles, because there were plenty of them. There were plenty of them on the very first day it was launched saying, "Oh, I'm not going to buy this thing because I don't believe in the concept that was barely revealed to us yet." I could have done like at least 5 videos by now on just dumb articles I've read. I held off because I knew there would be a big one. I knew there would be something actually worth talking about, and this is it. So, yeah, I'm sure there will be plenty more down the line that I'll feel worth the time to get into. So, be on the lookout for those. So, yeah, I'll see you next time.